You know, as Christians, everything that happens, regardless of what it is a call to be more Christ-like. The assassination of Charlie Kirk marks a dark day in our nation. I can tell by the myriad of responses on the internet that most people have no idea what it actually means for us as a nation. And of course, there are several ways to respond to this tragedy, but only one that Jesus endorses. And indeed, if we are Christians, the response that Jesus commands is the one we are to try with all our might to attain unto. And sure, we fall short. We trust Him for the rest. This is turn your face towards Him, and He will turn His face towards you for help. With much effort, I bridle my tongue. There's all kind of things that my flesh wants to say right now. But instead, we'll do a quick Bible study about swords. I'm going to read you what Jesus said in Matthew chapter 26. But in the meantime, we do pray for Charlie Kirk's family. We remember his widow and his orphans and their affliction. And we refuse to hate our enemies. Otherwise, how are we different than they? I had to delete 2 clips, 3 now, to say that. How I am somebody supposed to teach these things is almost beyond me, except I have the Bible. Let's just read it. I gotta cling to this and trust that this is true. Because if we don't, we are lost. And I mean carried away of the desires of our flesh. This is our life. Let me read it to you. Brothers and sisters, a dark day. People don't seem to understand what by a sword means when Jesus said it. In Luke chapter 22, Jesus said to his disciples, "When I sent you without purse and scrip and shoes, did you lack anything?" And they said, "Nothing." Then he said to them, "But now he that hath a purse, let him take it, and likewise his scrip. And he that hath no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one. For I say unto you that this that is written must yet be accomplished in me. He was reckoned among the transgressors. For the things concerning me have an end." And they said, "Lord, behold, here are 2 swords. And he said unto them, "That's enough." And then he went to the Mount of Olives with his disciples to pray, where he commands them to watch, and they keep falling asleep. He keeps waking them up until he is betrayed. At which point Peter draws his sword and cuts the guard's ear off. That same scene can be seen in Matthew 26. You want to know what Jesus said about the sword? That he did tell them to bring. What are we supposed to do with it, Jesus? Matthew 26, verse 51, "And behold, one of them which were with Jesus stretched out his hand and drew his sword, and struck a servant of the high priest, and smote off his ear. Then said Jesus unto him, Put up again thy sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Thinkest thou that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me more than 12 legions of angels? But how then shall the scriptures be fulfilled? Thus it must be." Peter was just defending Jesus with the sword that Jesus told him to bring. Jesus told him to put his sword away and leave it in its place. And then he put Malchus's ear back on his head. And then they took Jesus and beat him to a pulp and hung him on a cross, and he died. Even though it was in his hand to call more than 12 legions of angels down to smite the whole earth, and I mean the elements would melt with a fervent heat. You know, at one point he had 2 disciples that said, "Why don't we just call down fire from heaven and consume them all?" And Jesus said, "Why don't y'all just calm down, thunder brothers? We've got to do it the way that it's written, of course. They're going to kill us all dead." You think God doesn't know that? They killed him, bruh, and his response was, "Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing." So when I see certain responses to events that have changed our country forever, and they're flippant or even celebratory, yeah, I have a natural response to that. And then I have a spiritual response that is commanded by my Lord and my God, which thing I must attain unto. Be ye perfect, for he is perfect. Is that not it? Knowing that I have to be real careful not to call down judgment from God lest it fall on my own head. And that I personally prefer that God be more patient and merciful to me than to destroy me for my sins. I know a whole bunch of people that used to be something and now are something else. And praise God, he gave them time for that change and his long-suffering patience. That's every Christian I know. Used to be one thing and now is something else. And isn't it great God gave you time? Instead of calling for the destruction of our enemies, we are to pray for their salvation, as we ourselves were once enemies of God, and he saved us despite that fact. We're supposed to love our enemies instead of hate them. We're not supposed to repay evil with any kind of evil. Oh, they're killing us? All day long we are counted as sheep for the slaughter. I don't know what more to say today. And so I'll end this video by saying, God help us and have mercy on us and save us. Don't let your heart grow hard. Don't let your love grow cold. There are dark days ahead. He who endures to the end shall be saved. In faith, we have to cling to the gospel of Jesus Christ, and we had better be found doing that.